a lot of people don't actually know you are a legitimate chartered accountant.
I am indeed. Real life nerd.
You're real life actual mergers and acquisitions accountant.
Yes. Well, you train to be a chartered accountant, which is a general thing, right? It's like a doctor trains to be a doctor.
Okay.
And I'm not comparing myself to a doctor because making people richer is not quite the same as saving lives.
Okay, is that the tagline? Making people richer. Okay.
But with accountancy, it's so broad. Some people think, oh, will you do my bookkeeping? No, I don't. No. I'm not a bookkeeper. I specialize in something called M&A, mergers and acquisitions, which is where you help people exit their business. So people don't really understand this. It's not too dissimilar to what you do in the real estate space. You build a property. At some point, you might want to sell the property. You sell the property. Same with the business. Exactly. Some people, they'll build a business. Maybe they get to, sometimes they're 30, sometimes they're 70, and they want out. But there's a lot of value in that business, right? So you don't just quit and walk away, people assume that you do that, which is a bit odd.
Yeah.
So I would come in and I would be the person who makes the business look as sexy as possible. I'd find a buyer for it, broker the deal, take a percentage.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you came here on the way to Korea for an accountancy job.
That's right.
And ended up staying.
Yeah, so I was doing some consultancy work, some freelance. This is when I'd left the big four consultancy, typical employment, office life. That was behind me at that point. So I did that for the best part of 8-9 years. Very heavily corporate, very heavily office based. And I got a bit of a network. So people would ask me to do bits and pieces here and there. And that kind of got to the point where it felt self-sufficient. So there was one consultancy piece where I was needed to go to Korea. And I'm from Manchester, as you know. The direct flight from Manchester to Korea was just horrendous. I'm just not doing that. And there just happened to be a really cheap flight to Bangkok.
One night in Bangkok.
Exactly. That's the music as I was on the Skyscanner. So I was like, I'm going to go to Bangkok. I'll just spend a week in Bangkok. It'll break up the travel a little bit. I'll have a bit of a break. I've been working really hard. I'll go to Korea and then I'll come home. And what happened was the Korea thing went pretty well. It went so well that I was going to have to continue nurturing that relationship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I needed to be in an Asian time zone. Because I was like, I could go back to the UK, but do I want to be on like 1 a.m. calls doing, So I thought, rather than stay in Korea, which I have some comments on Korea, love a lot about Korea, but not optimal. I don't want to stay there long term, right? It's also very expensive.
Yeah.
It's like, I loved that week I did in Bangkok.
It's very boozy in Korea as well.
Oh man, the business culture is next level.
Yeah.
In Korea, there's a name for this, I don't know what it is. There's a junior person whose sole job is to drink on behalf of the boss to keep the spirits high. Because the boss is like 50, 60, I'm done. Somebody needs to get drunk though. Like somebody has to get pissed. So the employee, this young whippersnapper, who just gets fucked, for lack of a better term, on behalf of everybody there. Yeah, to keep the energy high. There's a name for it, I don't know what it is. But anyway, yeah, I'm not a drinker. And I was like, I'm going to struggle to stay in Korea for this long. So Bangkok made more sense. I went back to Bangkok and I was like, I'm just going to stay here. I'm going to manage this remotely. And 4 years later, here we are. I never went home.
I mean, you didn't even have an Instagram account in the beginning.
Nah.
You were hanging around influencers, looking at them getting all the free stuff, and you were like,
I want a bit of this. Where's my free shit? So what happened was I ended up meeting two guys, funnily enough, from Manchester. In fact, one of them lived like on a road that was parallel to my road in the UK.
Oh, wow.
And I'd never met this guy.
What?
In Manchester.
Wow.
Yeah, so I met him through a friend. I'm like, you're from where? He's like, yeah, I'm like, from round the corner to where you live. That is Sam Tyler, who's massive on Instagram now. Yeah. So I met him and there was a couple of others and they were just having a good time. And I wasn't having a great time because I was, I've always been super busy, head in the laptop, spreadsheets. And more importantly, they were just getting invites to things and I just was never used to it. From my background, you don't do content, you don't get on TikTok and Instagram and make this, you just don't do it. So it was, and I knew it was a thing. I'd seen Instagram, obviously. I'm not a complete recluse. And I'd seen that there were influencers, but now I'm like meeting them in person and watching them spontaneously pick up their phone and start talking to the phone with no sense of embarrassment or, just no fear, right? And I just thought, I could probably do that. Like, I think I could do that because there's a lot of skill overlap between that and what I already did.
Yeah.
But more importantly, I just wanted the invites to the parties that I wasn't getting. I didn't want the pity tickets, man, because it was always like, oh, Alex hasn't got a ticket. No one knows who he is. We have to get him a ticket. I hated that. So that was like my kick up the arse to create content.
I mean, finding your niche as well, though, because obviously you're talking about Thailand and you're talking about, so starting businesses. You've basically brought that to Thailand. You're helping people start businesses.
That's right, yeah.
It's a nice, how can I say, it's a nice niche to be in.
It is, man. It's cool because the coolest thing about that is most people who want to move to Thailand and set something up in Thailand, they're interested in some way. You know, there's not a lot of boring people, right?
Everyone's got a story.
There's always a story. If somebody wants to come to Thailand, there's always a story, right? There's never boring people. That's a double-edged sword.
Very.
Some crazy people,
yeah,
which we can talk about. But yeah, like I was actually kind of all over the place when I first moved there because I was still doing the real work, right? And the content creation was very much kind of a hobby on the side. When I had a few minutes here and there, I'd talk to a camera and post it. And those two worlds were very separate. And actually, I'll be totally honest, I was very embarrassed about the content because I was living almost two lives. And it was a big, like, I'm going into serious business meetings, working with really serious entrepreneurs. And at the same time, I'm posting some kind of silly, like, you know, right on the knife's edge of, right, like, what's, and I'm like, it was just a bit, it made me nervous, right? And it's only until recently where I found a way to kind of merge those two things, like those two lives. Because I think what happened was, as I grew more confident with creating content, I would talk about things that I actually sort of knew and cared about.
That's the best way.
It is, man. And listen, we can talk about all the stupid shit I've done and all the stuff I wouldn't do again. But what happened was people eventually realized my real background, and people would just message me. And he would say, hey, look, I want to do X, Y, and Z in Thailand. Can you help me? And I realized that there was a real demand for people.
There is.
A lot of entrepreneurs that want to come here. They want to set something up. Serious entrepreneurs as well. They just don't know how to navigate this regulatory environment. And I resisted it for a long time. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Until one day I thought, well, I definitely could do that. And it's well within my remit of expertise. So why don't I jump on a few calls with these people, figure out what the problems are, what the issues are, what the bottlenecks are. And I just realized that there was a real demand for it. So, and that's all to do with the fact that Thailand's just an amazing country and people are starting to realize why that is.
It's not a fad. I mean, I think it's just coming into the maturity, if that makes sense. It's a very, very safe environment to do business. That being said, the double-edged sword, like there is, you know, I've seen so many horror stories.
Yeah.
I've witnessed them face to face. You know,
right.
we get people telling us their stories. I had literally somebody last week. There's a massive thing in the news at the moment about, you know, this lease not being renewed. So 30 plus 30 plus 30 is like how it's like the SOP of real estate, or so everybody thought until this court didn't renew the lease. They said, no, we can't renew it. And the headlines picked up on it. It's massive news. It's like, oh my God, the 30-year lease isn't going to be renewed. And this is the first case ever in Thailand. I met that client who actually bought the land and didn't get it renewed. And the reason why, according to him...
American guy,
yeah.
I think I messaged
He's coming here tomorrow.
Oh, wow. Real American guy. Like
Real American.
Deep Texas.
Yeah. He's a cool guy. He lives in Singapore. Anyway, and the reason being is that the developer that sold it to him was going into insolvency. They owed 240 million bahts. And the simple fact is that, you know, how can the court allow the lease to be renewed when, you know, people are owed that money? People are owed that land, and that's the real case about it. But I mean, that's the first and only case that I've heard that the 30-year lease isn't going to be renewed. So, not bad.
Yeah. I think, like, for me, I think when it comes to lifestyle, for the reasons we've already mentioned, right? I don't know if this was included. I don't know if we lost this. We were talking about neighboring countries in Thailand.
Right.
We were talking about Vietnam. We were talking about Cambodia. We were talking about China, maybe Korea, Japan, whatever. There's pros and cons of all of these countries, but Thailand hits this real sweet spot Like it's in a Goldilocks zone right now.
It really is.
In terms of natural beauty is still here, very much so. The cost of living is still relatively cheap. You know, you've got beaches, mountains, cities, incredible people. The regulatory environment's still kind of relaxed. It has everything, but you still have access to all the amazing infrastructure. And there's normally a trade-off between all those things and the infrastructure.
Yes.
In Vietnam, you have all this, like, you know, it's very cheap, the food's amazing, it's relaxed, you know, you can kind of walk around and do whatever. And the trade-off of that is normally, yeah, but you want to go to a mall, there's no malls. You want to get some electronics, there's no electronics. That isn't the case here. No. Everything is here. So my case is that Thailand, from a lifestyle perspective, wins. So then you might say, well, why are all the kind of like entrepreneurs going to Dubai or the UAE? And it's because it's easier. UAE is easier. You want to set up a business in the UAE, you want to buy a car, you want to buy a property, super easy. They've made it super easy.
A massive market segment of mine is people relocating from the UAE to Thailand.
Right. Because once you realize how to do it, you're going to want to do it.
Yeah.
I love the UAE, I love Dubai. But given the choice, I'm picking Thailand up.
100%.
Every time.
100%. It's more colourful. It's more, you understand.
There's more culture. It's real.
For me, like a massive market segment is, you know, people that have relocated to the UAE or one of the Emirate countries, and they realised, okay, how much does the school cost? How much does the driver cost? How much does the flashy lifestyle cost? How sustainable is that?
Right.
How long can they keep that going?
Yeah.
And, you know, they've got money, but it's going fast.
Right.
And I wouldn't call Thailand the cheaper option. It's just that you get a lot more bang for your buck here. I mean, you can live here really well. If you've got funds, you know, you can get yourself a nice villa, you can get yourself a driver, you can get yourself a car, you can get yourself, you know, that lifestyle, but you're not keeping up with the Joneses. You can wear flip-flops and shorts every day. You can just be yourself.
Yes.
And you don't have to show a fancy watch. You can just be you. Exactly.
100%.
And you'll find that a lot of the Thai people here as well, like they're you know, they've got serious money, but they're driving a Toyota, you know, and it's
$1,000,000%.
And that's the difference. I'm not a flashy person, hence why I don't think I could thrive in UAE. I do very well. And I've got a friend of mine from when I was 16, and he's doing really well. He's got a company called Off Market Listings. His name is Ainsley, and he's the big fella. He does well on social media, but one thing is that he just fits that flashy lifestyle. I mean, he's living on the palm. He's riding around in a Sprinter, you know, getting chauffeured around in a Sprinter. He's selling properties left, right, and centre, and that's him. Me personally, I prefer to, you know, meet up with clients, have a couple of drinks, and talk about lifestyle. What do you want to get from your property? Is it an investment? Are you going to use it yourself? And it's more of a relationship, and you fall in love with Thailand as soon as you get here. But when you're about to start thinking about living here, you really need to have that lifestyle aspect. What are you after for your lifestyle? And that's obviously what brings so many people to live here full time.
Yeah, including me, because, you know, I think the UAE makes a lot of sense for a lot of people, as does Singapore, as does Hong Kong maybe. If you're in a phase where you want to be very entrepreneurial and you want to make as much money as possible, and that is the only thing you're keeping score of, then yeah, probably the UAE. You go there, there'll be an insane network of people who are just money, and business. But for me, especially at this point in my life, I kind of like to take a more top-down approach and balance across everything. And when you do that, and when you factor in things like fitness, when you factor in things like health, social life, the ability to travel and see and do cool things, Thailand wins.
And the accessibility as well. Like, you can fly from 6 hours from Phuket, you can fly to half the world's population, or half the world's population can fly to you. Within 6 hours flight radius.
It's crazy.
It's just like, wait a minute, location is bang on point. The issue as well, like for example, you talk about entrepreneurial environment. I think Bali kind of hits like for entrepreneurs, because there's a lot of startup bros there. And I think that's really good. I struggle in Phuket because obviously my market's very niche. Like buying a property, you have to have money to play that game, and not everybody's for me, for example. I get that, it's fine, but we try to inform people as best as possible, and when you're ready, come to us. We'll help, you know, curate a lifestyle for you. But in Bali, you've got a lot of younger people that can talk business. You don't get that here in Phuket. There's not many entrepreneurs in Phuket compared to Bangkok, for example. Right. So like, don't get me wrong, like Phuket's not for everybody. Bangkok is definitely got that pizzazz.
It does got that energy. But even in Bangkok, you have to, unlike the UAE, I would imagine, where you can kind of hit the ground running from day one and you'll bump into, you know, somebody in the supermarket. In Bangkok, you still need to know where to look, and you have to be in the right circles. It's there. Trust me, it's there. But you have to look for it, and it's not the easiest thing. So there is these like speed bumps with Thailand. There are these points of friction where it slows people down or even prevents people from moving here.
Yeah.
But my bet, and it might be yours as well, is that over the long term, people are going to realize that this has the best lifestyle to offer. So if we can be the people to help facilitate that move and help navigate those weird complexities that don't make sense and just reduce all that friction, then that's cool, man. Like, if I can offer somebody the lifestyle that I've got today, that's cool. I'm happy to do that.
So, I mean, let's talk about the influencer and the lifestyle, because we've got to mix it out. There are so many influencers now, and they do really well. And I've held off for the longest to put my face out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I really have, and a lot of it is, you know, not embarrassment, but just
It's definitely there's definitely days where I don't want to do it. There's 9 times out of 10 I don't want to pick up a camera and record myself.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to do it because, I mean, there's an inherent arrogance that comes with like creating content about yourself. You're saying to the world, I know something that you don't know, and I'm so fucking good that I'm going to post a video that I've made and you're going to watch, and you're asking for people's time and attention. There's an inherent arrogance to that. But if nothing, I am consistent. Like, when it comes to the gym or business or whatever, it's like, if I've said I'm going to do it, if I open my Google Calendar and it says, you're recording some videos today, I'm recording them. I just am. It's my personality.
Nice.
And that's kind of got me, I guess, to where I am today, if that's any sort of accolade.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, I never feel like doing it. I never, or rarely feel like doing it. Sometimes, like now when I'm in Phuket, now I do, because it's a change of environment and it's more natural, it's more spontaneous, and there's things that are genuine. I'm like, oh, that's cool, let me capture that, or I've just learned something, let me record that.
Yeah, it's fresh.
Yeah, but you can't always rely on that. Like, you can't always rely on, you know this with like the gym, you can't rely on motivation, it has to be discipline. So most of content is a schedule. It's very boring and dry, but there's the schedule, post something, get it out there, get it done. And there'll be some good stuff, there'll be some bad stuff.
So right now, because you're obviously helping people start businesses in Thailand.
Yeah.
What are your main pain points about, you know, people coming to you? Because obviously you need to select who you deal with, and I don't want you to say anything bad about it. I'm not trying to like bait you into saying something bad about somebody, but you know, I'm really selective about who I deal with my real estate. I mean, I'm not being funny. Not everybody should buy in Phuket. There's a lot of, you know, I sit down with people and I check people out before we do any business.
Yeah.
And sometimes I say, listen, this isn't for you.
Right.
You know, like you must get that with the businesses.
All the time. And probably like you, when I first started doing this, I wanted to speak to everybody. I wanted every client that came through the door. But then what you realize quite quickly actually is, if I'm not going to enjoy working with this person, I'm not going to work with this person.
Yeah.
And there's some great clients to work with, and there's some horrendous clients to work with. That's the double-edged sword of the Thai, you know, foreign entrepreneur market. Is there's some crazy people, crazy in a good way, crazy in a bad way. I tell you what, I had somebody message me, and I don't think we had a 10-second conversation, and he just said, "Okay, send me an invoice. I'll send you the money." This is very unusual, and I'm like, no, I don't just want your money. Like, you need to explain to me exactly what you want. What are we doing? We need to reach an agreement. I want to understand. This guy's like, no, I'll just send you the, just, you know, and then you get the opposite end of the spectrum of people who want all the information, don't want to pay you anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to raise kids. You know, I'm here to be here with my family, and we do good business.
Yeah.
In the meantime, but I think having that, you know, I've got skin in the game. You know, like I've got my kids here. My kids are Thai. Yeah. You know, my wife is Thai. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere, if that makes sense. I'm not here for a quick in and out, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Here for the long run.
Yeah. But I always think it's funny. I like working with people who have kids.
Okay.
because it tells me a lot about them as a person. It's funny because like kids are like collateral. You know, it's like if there's kids involved, and I don't mean that in a weird way. What I mean is like there's a lot for somebody that they want to upstand good morals. They want to have good business behavior because there's kids. Yeah. You know, it's like you'd never want your kids to have a father or a mother that's shady and does weird things. And I always just find that people with kids, they're better people to work with. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I found that since I had kids, my reactiveness has calmed down a lot more. Right. Like I'm more pensive on my actions, if that makes sense. But also about longevity. So if I do something, you know, is it going to matter in 5 years? Yes or no? Yeah. That's basically the way I look at most things. Right. Like, okay, if I do this today, will this matter in 5 years? Yeah. And that's why. Another reason why I haven't actually gone out on camera up until now like this, because this stuff stays forever. Yeah. How's Bangkok life in general compared to, because you've come to Phuket today. I have. Why Bangkok? Again, sort of a happy accident really. Bangkok was the natural place to, you know, when I flew into Bangkok when I accidentally moved to Thailand, right? Bangkok is to me just the gateway into Southeast Asia. In fact, let me go back a bit because I first came to Thailand when I was 17 years old, right? Okay. Alone. Can you imagine that? So this would have been, well, nearly 17 years ago. So this is a kid who's never left Europe, right? And now I'm in Bangkok by myself. And I always think, remember that scene from Men in Black when you just sort of like, when you go to like the transatlantic airport or whatever, and there's all these like different looking animals and creatures and the vibe. That was like Bangkok. I remember thinking like, where am I? Like, I've not seen anything like this. The sights, the sounds, the smells, which is different. And even today, I still feel that like excitement and energy and buzz from Bangkok. Yeah. To me, Bangkok is just the gateway into Southeast Asia. It's like the gateway into another portal, into another world, right? Because Asia is so different to the West and Europe, which is where I'm from. So, yeah, even today, Bangkok has a special place in my heart. Always will have a special place in my heart. I've stayed there now more out of convenience than anything, to be totally honest. Okay. When I come to Phuket, for instance, and you know, you actually get a real picture of Phuket, because every time I've come to Phuket, I've stayed in quite limited pockets. This is the first time in Rawai, actually, to be totally honest. You went to Rawai for the first time? This is the first time, yeah. This is Paklok. I mean, yesterday, sorry. I was in Rawai. That was the first time I went. And this is, you know, Phuket's not a massive place. No. But there's a lot of diversity within. Because like you've got Patong and then like Rawai, and they're not a million miles apart, but it's a very, very, very different vibe. Very different vibe. Yeah, so, you know, when I come and I see these places, it does remind me of where I am. Thailand, tropical country, beach, amazing weather. Like, these are things that are easily forgotten in Bangkok. Bangkok, you know, in many cases when you're in Bangkok for long enough, you might as well be in London, right? Or Singapore or whatever. If you're spending 90% of your life in a co-working space. But I tell you what Bangkok does have. Amazing condos, incredible convenience, great public transport, amazing infrastructure, huge variety of food, restaurants, huge networking opportunities, loads and loads of people passing through. There's a lot of positives about Bangkok. The things that wear on you after a while, the pollution, that's the worst thing. That's potentially like the most negative thing about Bangkok is the air quality. And you can taste that when you come to Phuket. Yeah. You come to Phuket and you're like, oh wow, oh my God, this is what oxygen tastes like. You know what I mean? Like, it's so fresh here. It's so fresh. I slept like a baby for the past 3 nights here, way better than I would in Bangkok, and I'm pretty sure it's to do with the air. Yeah. So look, I love Bangkok. My favorite city in the whole world. It's so convenient. The people there are amazing. There's so many networking opportunities. My condo has everything I could possibly need within it. It's great. But it's increasingly just become sort of the place to do the boring stuff. So if I need to do the editing, the calls, the planning, it's feeling like that's now the place to go for all that. Interesting. And for the content creation, for the traveling, for going out there and doing new things, it might be Phuket, it might be another country, neighbouring Thailand, it could be anything. I mean, are you going to take it to your Instagram? Are you going to take it to your socials to different countries? Because, I mean, travel is a massive opportunity. It's dangling carrot. Yeah, I think so. So I think you can only really provide a credible view of Thailand by first looking at other countries or alternatives. And I've done that personally because I've pretty much been everywhere I think there is to go here and around this area. And I've made the decision that Thailand is my favorite country, and it makes a lot of sense to live here for the reasons I've already spoken about. But I haven't really documented how and why I've reached that decision. So I think over the coming weeks and months, I'll be visiting other countries, and I'll probably be looking at what is it actually, boots on ground, like what's it actually like here? What is the lifestyle like here? What is the visa situation like here? What is the business environment like here? And that way you can let people make their own informed decisions. But for me, at least, I've reached the decision that Thailand is the place. Me helping out people set themselves up in Thailand or whatever, you can't just have a limited view of Thailand.
No.
To help somebody who's from Australia and has some parents in the UK and some property and you have to have a global perspective of everything.
Correct.
Right? So this is kind of why I did this, because it's not being served in the Thai market, because a lot of the Thai people who do certain things, like they just understand Thailand. And they're very good at that. And of course, I partner with Thailand for Thai partners for certain things that I can't or am not allowed to do, right? They will do those things. But in many cases, when you're a global citizen, right, you need somebody with a global perspective of every single country.
Correct.
If you want to provide, accurate tax planning, estate planning, all those things, you need to understand the nuances of every country and your specific background.
I don't really promote my personal socials, but on there it says Phuket-based, Asia-wide. Because
right.
Because literally, my company, we sell properties in every country in Asia. Actually, we've got boots in the ground in every single country. Right. It's insane, and it's taken years to get to that point. And I've done it all without socials. That's just off referral. Oh, have you got somebody in Vietnam? Yeah, I'll hook you up. Yeah. Have you got someone in Indo? Yeah, we've got that there.
But do you know? I think about boots on ground and real life experience. You need that, with the kind of work we do. I don't know if you've ever tried this, but if you try and ask AI, ChatGPT, to give you some guidance, like at a very nuanced level, like if you ever give ChatGPT a very specific scenario, the advice is horrendous.
Terrible.
Because with this, everything's changing all the time. Regulations there are changing, regulations here are changing, tax situations here are changing. There's also the interpretation component where it's not so black and white. You need somebody who's actually done it and has experienced and gone through it. And that information is not on ChatGPT.
It's really not.
So it's one of those areas where it's like you need to have had experience, you need to have had boots on ground. And the only way of doing that is doing it yourself or helping people do it.
Literally.
Yeah.
I speak to so many people, and they're like, oh, but what about this? And oh, but what about that? And Americans are the best for it. They call Asia as one country. And it's hilarious. Like they're going, oh, but Asia this and Asia that. I'm like, yeah.
America is the world and Asia is one country.
Yeah, it's weird. But like talking about boots on ground, talking about, real life knowledge, the whole idea of Asia Lifestyle Magazine was trying to give a few of those insights. We use AI for a lot of things, but they're fact checked so much.
Yeah. Well, listen, AI is great in certain circumstances, but if you want that full picture, contextual overview,
you need to speak to somebody. 100%. You need to speak to somebody.
1,000,000%.
Moving forward, I think I'm going to be in Phuket for the remainder of my, at least until my kids grow up.
Nice.
And then I think I'm going to do the sell everything and motorbike around the world
kind of thing.
Beautiful. But yeah, I had my kids early, so
yeah, you did.
Like you're
I've not even started, and you've got a 17-year-old.
Yeah. So I'm 38 next month.
Yeah.
And I've got a 17-year-old. Yeah. My youngest is 7 though.
Yeah.
So I've still got another at least 11 years to go until I can sell up and kick everybody out and go.
Yeah.
And do my life. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's cool. Like I want to retire at 50. That's my goal. The thing is with we talk about, I want what you've got. Like I meet people at end of life or end of the line, if that makes sense. Not end of the life. Like basically they've made their millions.
Okay.
They're coming to Phuket to buy a place, and they're curating a lifestyle. Okay, I want to use Phuket as my hub. and I'm going to travel around the world doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we talk about their lifestyle, you curate a lifestyle, and also, like you said before, it's, you know, there's different pockets of Phuket for different kinds of people.
Right.
Phuket is so diverse.
It is, yeah.
And so is Bangkok as well, but I like Phuket because it gives you that clean air, nice lifestyle. You can do the touristy things if you want to. You can do the chill out things if you want to. Me personally, I like to live out in the sticks. But I still jump into Phuket life every day. Mm-hmm. It's not that far. You know, in the car, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, you're in a complete different area, different zone. But what I was getting to is basically the amount of people that come here with so much money, and they need to realize that they've come to that end of the line. Yeah. They've come to that, they've got their millions or they've got their pension. They need to make that work for them.
Yeah.
They need that to really, like, they need to optimize their, you know, their savings. They need to optimize it. They need to optimize their lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because, you know, ringing the bell and buying everybody a drink and going to these fancy places and man, you can't do that every day.
No, you can't.
You know, like, it gets expensive.
Yeah,
and then I've met people that came here with so much money, and 10 years down the line, I mean, enough money to buy a property, enough money to buy a condo, and they didn't. Yeah. And they've spunked it all away. Yeah. And I'm just like, what? Yeah. What? Yeah, you know, a lot of people, they have, you know, they're really averse to the idea of actually buying a property in Thailand. Like your condo, for example, everybody, I've been here, let's say 14, 15 years ago, people would be saying, oh, I'll never buy a property in Thailand. I'm like, why? Oh, because you never know what's going to happen. Well, you've got foreign freehold. Oh yeah, but you know, and it's so cheap to rent. I'm like, well, that is true. It is cheap to rent. Yeah. However, how much savings have you got? You know, how much money are you going to make in Thailand as well? That's another thing as well. If people are going to come here, you know, with their retirement funds, definitely buy a place, because you need to secure your base. If people are going to come here and work, then realize that making money here, you're not going to make as much money as in Europe. Yeah, you know, you're not going to make as much money in America. For sure. So if you've got that, you know, little safety packet that you've come here with, I think investing is probably one of the smartest things you can do. Yeah, interesting. Because even if you outgrow that life, let's say, for example, you have enough money for a 1-bedroom condo, and fine, you're living in it, that's great. But let's say, for example, you outgrow that life, then actually you've still got that investment that's making you a nice return. And the returns here are good, man. Like, you know, 7%, 8%, 10%. It's not unheard of, man. 10% is, I've seen it a lot. Yeah. You know, yeah. It's good. But don't get me wrong, like, I see a lot of people come here and waste it all away and then have to go back with the tail between the legs.
Yeah, that happens a lot, right?
A lot. Yeah. And they blame it on the relationship. It's not. It's just, you need to plan properly. Yeah. And speak to a professional about opening a business. Yeah, no, it's true.
I think people still have this idea that Thailand is super cheap, and then all the common sense goes out the window, and it's like,
completely.
You know, it gets converted into Thai baht, and it's like monopoly money. It's like, and then look at the real bank account at the end of it all, and it's like, fuck, got nothing left, you know?
It happens. I've seen it so many times.
So if I was looking for, let's say I wanted to buy a property now then in Phuket, is it a good time to buy? Are there any particular things I should look for, not look for?
Right now in Bang Tao, that's the hot place.
Yeah, I like Bang Tao.
Love Bang Tao, and it's probably the most affluent area of Phuket.
Yeah.
There's really, really nice people there, and you know, the accommodations are really leveling up. There's a lot of accommodation there being built now that wasn't there before. Like, there weren't that many luxury condos, there weren't that many luxury villas. Now it's full. So you've got to understand, like, the rental market's going to fall out of its arse when all these condos come onto the market. There's about 6,000 or 7,000 new condos being built at the moment that are going to come onto the market this coming year. And don't get me wrong, it's going to fall out of its arse that, you know, right now with the 1-bedroom, you can get a 1-bedroom for about 50,000 baht a month. Obviously the price is going to go down when there's a lot more brand new builds on the market. Yeah. The difference is that what people don't realize is there's a massive market for people coming to live in Thailand instead of the West. The West is crumbling in my eyes. It's really sad to see what's happening in the UK, you know, race wars and religion, this and all that. I'm like,
online safety acts. Wow.
Listen, I'm not being funny. Like, you need to register your face to have a wank. Like, really? And, you know, I can just see it all coming. As soon as that BRIC card comes out, like, and also like, you know, I've seen some old man on social media trying to buy strawberries with cash and they wouldn't accept his money. And I'm just like, come on. So I think people underestimate, you know, these, let's say, for example, 6,000 new units that are going to come on the market really soon. People are going to be occupying them. Yeah. People are going to live here, you know, and it's not like work from home, it's work from anywhere. Yeah. So buying a little 1-bedroom unit in Bangkok, that's where I would recommend, because even if you're not going to live there forever, even if your life outgrows it, you obviously buy what you can afford. If you can afford a 2-bed, go for a 2-bed. But if you can afford a 1-bed, go for a sizable 1-bed, walking distance to town, nice facilities. You're not going to lose money on there. Don't get me wrong, like you're not going to get a winner every single time, but 9 times out of 10, as long as you're with the right agent or, you know, with real market knowledge and you really work out your path, like what's your life going to look like in 2 years? What's your life going to look like in 5 years? What's your life going to look like in 10 years? Yeah. As long as you're doing that, then okay, well, I might have a kid. Well, okay, are you still going to want that Bangkok lifestyle when you have a kid? No. But are you going to buy a condo that's a family condo right now or no? So, you know, buying what you can afford is the main thing. But, you know, buying a 1-bedroom in a really pumping area, you know, you can use it yourself. You can obviously saving money when you're using it yourself, and obviously you can rent it out when you're not using it. The one thing that people don't understand is that Thailand is a cash market. You need all your funds to buy a property and get it transferred in your name. You can't get a bank loan. So you can pay over the course of a couple of years if there's a developer finance, but you have to have the readies to play.
Well, actually, I wanted to ask you about this because there is an alternative, which is private lending. That's few and far between. Now, I happen to know quite a credible asset manager in Bangkok.
There's a few.
Yeah. This guy's good. I like this guy. He's very smart, very intelligent. But he said something really interesting to me recently, which is that he would lend against property.
Yeah.
Right? Except Phuket. Now, it's because there's nothing wrong with Phuket. Phuket's a great market. But he said that there are some complexities with real land ownership in Phuket that they struggle to, even they as a, you know, bread and butter Thai company, all Thai staff, even they struggle to understand some of those nuances. So is there any particular risk attached to buying in Phuket for those reasons?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about it.
So, okay, there are, we touched on it with that guy, there are certain due diligences that you need to do. And for example, it goes back to, you know, picking your battles, all right? I don't sell everything. I don't take on every client either. And look, I've been here for so long, I speak fluent Thai. I know the history behind pieces of land and parcels of land and pockets of areas, and you know, there's a lot of places come with history. There is no beachfront land available now that doesn't come with a story.
Right.
And it's a court battle this, or it's something happened there. And also, you know, if you do buy a piece of land, then okay, how are you going to buy it? Because obviously you need a Thai entity or Thai partner. Otherwise, then you go back to a lease. But I'm not going to talk about ownership now, but literally the easiest way to bypass all of that is just get a freehold condo. That is the easiest way.
Okay.
Because don't get me wrong, if you buy a condo, freehold or leasehold, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to make money on it, or you're going to live in it, and it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
But it's not a castle. It's not going to last for 100 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're buying something to use it. So like, you know, if it's a 30-year lease and you think it's going to make your money back in 30 years, go for it, man.
Right.
It's a good deal.
Right.
But where it comes with the complexities is the fact that Bangkok lawyers, Bangkok finance companies, they don't understand the local element of Phuket. So Phuket's now trying to push for a special economic zone zoning within Thailand.
Like its own laws, rules.
Its own, well, not its own laws. It's its own economic governance. Because if you're going to plan for an island like Phuket, it's going to take a lot longer than a 4-year governor's term to actually plan real infrastructure.
Right.
So it's going to take 6 years, 10 years. So you need the team to be in place for that longevity, to plan that far ahead. Otherwise, you're just going to get somebody to come in for 2 years and bam and gone. And Phuket's been that, the governors here, they've been really, really good, but they're only here for their end of career term, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, there's a massive thing. And also Bangkok lawyers, people come and, buy property here and they're using a lawyer from Bangkok. I'm like, just don't. I'm like, oh, why? I'm going to catch something. Or, no, you're not going to catch something. It's just they're not going to understand it.
It's that boots on ground thing, going back to that.
It's boots on ground. Like, I have got a list of lawyers that I would recommend and I would trust with my kid's life on the line. Yeah. And trust me, I buy and sell here all the time. So my kid's life is on the line.
Right.
And but I wouldn't use, if I'm going to buy a property in Manchester, I wouldn't use a lawyer from London. Do you understand?
Yeah,
I want a local lawyer that understands the nuances, that knows the history. And Samui's the same as well. Samui's got some wicked land title stories. Not going to get on that on this episode at all. That's for another day. But Phuket, there's a lot of history behind a lot of the land. So the safest way is obviously work with an agent that actually knows the history. Work with lawyers that can actually check the due diligence, not just they own it. Yeah, you've got right of access. Due diligence done. No. Yeah. Is there any debt on that land? Is there a court case pending or in past, or if it's done from Molodok, which is like my English is gone. If it's done from like a death benefit, for example, if somebody's died, an inheritance, So literally if it's from inheritance, have all of the siblings signed off that land can be sold. Because if all the siblings haven't signed off that land can be sold, even if your name's on the title deed, the siblings can contest.
Right.
And trust me, they'll wait for the villa to be built first.
Right.
You built that villa? That was my sister that sold me the land.
Yeah, right.
I'm not giving a real life example. I'm just saying that could happen.
Oh, I get it.
And it's with Phuket, you need a Phuket agent, Phuket lawyer. Yeah. With Samui, you need a Phuket Samui agent, Samui lawyer. Yeah.
Just goes back to that point before of people think you can get all the answers with Google and ChatGPT.
Never.
Actually, you probably don't even know the questions yet to be asking ChatGPT and Google, even if they have the answers, which they don't. You really need somebody who's just, I'll say it again, boots on ground, has done it, lived it, been through it.
Yeah. I mean, I've been coming here since I was 12.
Right.
Like, I love the culture.
Yeah.
I don't just like the culture enough to live here. I love the culture. I love Thai people. I love this country so much.
Yeah.
But I also love being British.
Yeah.
Like, I love the fact that I'm English. Yeah. Love it.
Yeah,
and, so I would...
What do you miss most about the UK? Let's reel them off. I'll go first.
Go on.
I miss British humour. I do miss that. That's hard to come by in Thailand.
Monster Munch.
Crumpets.
Just crumpets in general. You can get crumpets here, though.
You can?
Yeah.
I get them
ordered.
Crumpets.
Yeah.
Oh,
I get them ordered to the house. But I'm off carbs now for nearly a year. So, yeah. You can get Monster Munch as well. Do you know what I miss? I miss the pub garden in the summer.
Yeah. Pub garden's good.
And I really, really miss going to the game. Like, I love watching football in the stadium.
I've never been a big football guy, which is blasphemous coming from Manchester.
Yeah.
For me, a football game meant I'm stuck in traffic for the next 3 hours, staring at the back of a car on the way back from work. Because I used to live near Old Trafford.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so when there's a game on, it's like, fuck it, I'm not getting home till like midnight.
Yeah, so my dad's place, we walk to the games. We walk to Stamford Bridge.
That's
like,
cool.
Literally, like, even my brother's house, you can see the bridge from his house as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's... Our family is ingrained in Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
look, man, I know it's, and I'm guilty of this, I know it's really trendy now to sort of slag off the UK. It makes me wince a little bit now because there's a lot of things I'm really proud of for being British. And we both probably owe a lot to the UK. Like, we've both probably had really good educations. We've both probably earned a lot of money in the UK. And there's a lot of positive things about the UK. And if honestly, I'm saddened by like where it's
really
going.
bad.
Yeah.
Look, if you want to go there, then we'll go there. I look at some of the videos coming out of the UK and I'm tearing. I'm tearing because, you know, this beard is since COVID, so I'm normally clean shaven. But a lot of people are going, "Oh, are you? What's your?" I'm like, "All right, well, look, I've got Caribbean roots, but I've never been there. I'm just, you know, born and raised in London, and I was educated outside of London for a bit, and then I left the UK when I was 15. So my memories of the UK are, you know, holidays, you know, growing up in school, going to the Air Cadets, you know, like plodding around London." And the multiculturalism, like you can get any food at any time. You know, you can, how can I say, it used to be a lot safer. And now what I see is, you know, all those electric bikes and stealing phones. And my kids, I've never taken them to the UK. I should. But, you know, Leia said to me, "Oh, Daddy, careful if you go to London, you're going to get your phone stolen." That's their perception of the UK. And, you know, the amount of hate it's unreal, man. It's so scary. And the fact of the matter is, I see corruption at the highest level. What I love about Asia is corruption is at the lowest level. Right? It's like, can you do that today? No, sorry, you have to wait 3 weeks. Can you do it today?
right.
Yeah, we can get that done.
So true.
And the thing is, in the UK, can you do it today? It's like, no, we're not corrupt. But all of these hotel and, you know, small accommodation owners are friends of politicians. And they're getting full occupancy rates from the government to house all of these people that are coming to the UK. And it's basically politicians giving their mates the monopoly on making money. That's all it is. Do you really think the British Navy, and I'm not going to go too political, but the British Navy, our beautiful big British Navy, can't stop a few dinghies from coming over? Trust me, we could stop it if you want to. But it's a political, hate the immigrants, hate the black people, hate this, and then they can basically look like point fingers and get people to look the other way. And reality is that, you know, it's politicians that are making no real progress whatsoever, nothing.
It is a shame. It's a real shame.
I mean, how is it in Manchester? Like,
so I would certainly rather live in Manchester than London.
Right.
I think people think UK and they think London, right? They're almost like synonymous, like it's the same thing. It's not. Almost like any country in the world, the more northern you go, the better the people are. I know you're in something.
Legit, no, legit though, because when I lived in Spain, I had no friends from London. I had nearly all northerners.
Yeah.
Manchester, Leeds.
No, listen, right. So what I mean is, you get it here. You get it in any country. You go to Vietnam, you go to Thailand. There is, for lack of a better term, just a more relaxed vibe the further north you go, and the sense of humour gets a little bit more relaxed. And there's just a sense of, I'm not going to take myself so seriously. I don't know at what point it happens. It's just like this spectrum towards the north. I don't know why this is. It's magnetic force in the earth or whatever. But look, I love Manchester. I love Mancunian people. I would definitely rather live in Manchester than in London. I lived in Thailand for 3 years before I went back home for the first time. Didn't see a single fight in Thailand for the entire 3 years.
Oh yeah.
I went to London. I had to be in London for some business. That's why I went back. And I landed in London, and within 2 hours, I saw the most insane fight in the middle of Tesco I've ever seen. Somebody just walked in and tried to steal all the flipping meal deals or something. And the security guard just... it was like UFC in the middle of a Tesco Express.
Wow.
It was insane. And I just remember thinking, I've not seen anything like that in so long.
The violence is real.
But it's because in London there's just so much inequality in such a small space.
Oh yeah.
You've got extreme poverty next to extreme wealth, and that's just going to create friction.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that people need to realise is when they do come from the UK to Thailand or from Europe to Thailand, that there's no animosity to the wealth gap. Don't get me wrong, like there's poor people and there's rich people, but that wealth gap, that people live really well. They live in harmony.
I know some very, 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 very wealthy people in Thailand, and the way they interact with their staff, and when I've been to restaurants with them and I watch how they interact with, you know, people with significantly less money and wealth than they have, we're on the same level.
Yeah.
And there's no tension between the two classes, if you want to call it a class. It's probably something to do with the Buddhism roots and the fundamental beliefs in.
Yeah. I think it's cultural. I don't think it's. I think religion has a massive part of it, but I think it's more cultural.
Yeah.
But like when I look at the UK, it's very confrontational.
Yeah.
Like British people. I lived in Spain for 10 years. I witnessed a fight every day.
Oh yeah. It's bred out of. It's funny, right? Because why is it that in Thailand, where the people here are the most competent at fighting, because they learn Muay Thai from when they're about 3 years old and they're brought up kicking trees for fun, right? Why is it that none of these people fight? But then in the UK, it's like there's a lot to prove. People have a few drinks and they want to prove something, and I think there's just a lot of inherent anger and stress and unsatisfied with life, and that all comes out when you go for a beer and you want to take it out on somebody.
There's a lot of unsatisfaction. There's a lot of anger.
Yeah, there's a lot of anger,
and
that's not here.
That's another reason why I haven't done these social videos like so many before this one, for example, because I'm not ready for that anger in my life. Right. I live in a beautiful bubble.
Yeah, for sure. But one thing I do want to say, and I want to make this like really clear, because again, social media loves black and white, right and wrong, yes and no. I don't think there is a best place to live and worst place to live. I think there is a place for everybody at a certain phase in life. And I have no regrets being brought up in the UK. Again, I owe a lot to the UK. I've made the vast majority of my money and just like knowledge and education all came from the UK. And I would not be in the position I was in today without the UK. And had I left the UK at 19, which is what a lot of people message me and say, I want to move to Thailand or whatever, like you have, you kind of have to do a bit of graft first, right? And maybe the US, the UK, somewhere in Europe, maybe that's the place to do it. Then move to Thailand.
Yeah.
Right? But for certain phases of life, these countries that get bad reps these days, they still have a lot to offer in many ways.
I think the key point of moving abroad is if you don't have enough money to move abroad, then don't come to Thailand.
For sure.
Because the fact of the matter is you will be making money to survive, and making money in Thailand is not easy. Because you're competing against people that are on lower wage gaps.
Yeah, look man, like
you want to live your lifestyle.
So many people message me saying, how do I get a job in Thailand? If you're coming to Thailand looking for a job, you're going to be very, very, very disappointed.
Yeah.
Because most jobs are protected for Thai people. For the jobs that aren't protected for Thai people, the minimum wage for foreigners is significantly higher than Thai people, to discourage companies from hiring foreigners over Thai people.
Massively.
So you better be very exceptional in a very specific niche to have any hopes of getting a job in Thailand.
If you are going to come to Thailand and work, because obviously I do hire quite a lot of people, you've got to have that experience.
For sure.
And cut your teeth in Spain, cut your teeth in Portugal.
Yeah.
Make sure that you can, you've got the experience to make yourself wanted and needed.
Yeah.
It's massive. So I think if you are going to move abroad, make sure that you move abroad to somewhere that you're going to get that money. Yeah. And if you are going to come to Asia, then come to Asia and have a little bit at least,
There's the people who leave here prematurely, too soon. They're just desperate to come here, wait. And then there's the people who get too stuck in their ways in the UK, and they should have left a long time ago and had a much better existence. And you need to be the person who understands when it's, how long to stay in the UK, the US, Europe, whatever it is, but also when to leave.
Yeah.
Also when you've made enough, when you've learned enough, when it's time to say, right, I've got everything I can now, it's time to go somewhere cool.
Well, both of us are here servicing people that are wanting to come and live in Asia. So you can message Alex, you can message me, but I think we've covered so much on this chat that I don't know if you've watched all the way through, but I think there's a lot for people here in Thailand, and I really truly believe that, you know, if you speak to the right people, you can make that move, you know, really work for you. So Alex, thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure, brother.
And hopefully we will do this again sometime soon.
We've covered a lot, but there's still so much that we haven't spoken about, so yeah.
Easy. All right,
Cool,
well,
man. Enjoyed that one.
Thank you very much, and like, share, and subscribe.